breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
Thank you very much. This is a trial that should have never been brought. It's a trial that is being looked upon, looked at all over the world. They're looking at it and analyzing it. Every legal pundit, every legal scholar said this trial is a disgrace. We have a Trump-hating judge. We have a judge who shouldn't be on this case. He's totally conflicted. But this is a trial that should never happen. It should have been thrown out a long time ago. If you look at Jonathan Turley, Andy McCarthy, all great legal scholars, there's not one that we've been able to find that said this should be a trial. I was paying a lawyer and marked it down as a legal expense. Some accountant, I didn't know, marked it down as a legal expense. That's exactly what it was. And you've been indicted over that? I should be right now in Pennsylvania, in Florida, in many other states, North Carolina, Georgia, campaigning. This is all coming from the Biden White House because the guy can't put two sentences together. He can't campaign. They're using this in order to try and win an election, and it's not working that way. It's working the opposite way. So check that out. Legal expense. It's called legal expense. That's what you're supposed to call it. Mr. Trump, get indicted on that. Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. So thank you very much for coming. I'm now going to sit down for many hours. I am now going to sit down. The voters understand it. All you have to do is look at the polls. This is a sham trial, and the judge should recuse himself. This is totally conflicted. Thank you very much.
This sham trial is getting worse by the moment. I would have said by the day, but it's getting worse by the moment. As I said last night, I can't even believe that this is happening in America. In addition to Donald Trump having to deal with these absurd charges, not being able to go to his son's high school graduation, not being able to go to the Supreme Court hearing about presidential immunity. Now, today, this morning, right off the bat, Alvin Bragg has filed contempt charges to gag Donald Trump further.
10:31, we got some news from inside the courtroom. Apparently, the district attorney's office has filed a written motion, so they have made it official to try and hold Donald Trump in contempt for violating the gag order that was put onto him by the judge. Well, I guess there were 3 allegations that the state made yesterday. And if the allegations hold up, Trump would be fined $1,000 for each violation.
That's right.
It's obvious. Alvin Bragg is getting his marching orders from his puppet masters at the White House. Someone wants to make sure that Donald Trump is not allowed to speak, not allowed to tell us, his supporters, what's going on. These gag order violations are set currently at $1,000 each. Not a lot of money, but it's the fact of the matter that they want him silent. That's what they want to do to Donald Trump. A violation of the current gag order is worth $1,000 per violation. Then you may ask yourself, well, who decides what a violation is? Well, that would be Judge Merchan himself. The actual corrupt judge in this case would decide by himself in his sole discretion if Donald Trump violated the gag order and what he's allowed to say. That one guy can tell the ex-president and hopefully future president of the United States what he can and can't say. It's obvious that these panicked tyrants will stop at nothing to stop Donald Trump. But obviously, people are noticing. Even Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are now speaking out about this.
Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's prosecution of Donald Trump and its trial begins today. What a joke. I'm against these prosecutions on principle. I think they're destructive to our country. But let's just examine the facts and the law here. Alvin Bragg effectively is prosecuting Donald Trump for making hush money payments, allegedly, to Stormy Daniels, and then paying Michael Cohen in a means that Alvin Bragg thinks is falsifying business records. Well, first of all, falsifying business records in New York is a misdemeanor, not a felony.
Now understand, that is absolutely true. Even if he falsified business records, it's just a misdemeanor. Even worse, if he falsified business records under that misdemeanor offense, the statute of limitations expired a long time ago. Alvin Bragg then decided he was going to attach this misdemeanor, if it even happened, to a federal charge that he still hasn't even revealed.
and it falls outside of the statute of limitations, meaning it happened so far long ago that Alvin Bragg can't bring the case unless he charges it as a felony, which requires an underlying crime that he's advancing by falsifying those business records that was also a felony.
And he hasn't named what that other crime is yet. You understand, this man is going on trial, still not aware of what he has been charged with.
Here's where the legal stretch really begins. That requires Alvin Bragg to say that Donald Trump's payments should have been made out of a campaign account. That's his theory of the case, instead of being made personally, or else it's a constructive campaign contribution. That's bunk. Think about it. Look, you've had smart people like former FEC Commissioner Bradley Smith, who has correctly pointed out that if Donald Trump did use campaign money, campaign contributions, to pay off hush money, that would arguably be an even stronger legal case to bring against him.
You understand that? Alvin Bragg said you should have used this bank account, not this bank account. But if you did use this bank account, then we would be charging you anyway. It doesn't make any sense. None of this has made any sense. The media isn't telling you the truth, and you need people like Vivek, myself, and a few other warriors out there who aren't afraid of being slapped down, Elon Musk, to tell you this is completely bonkers.
Then the case they're bringing now. So in that version of the world, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. They're going to get him going or they're going to get him coming. It's almost as though they decided this is the person we're going to prosecute, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to charge him with after the fact.
That is exactly what they did. They went searching for a crime that didn't exist so that they could pin it on Donald Trump. That's exactly what they did.
Well, guess what? That's exactly what happened. You have Alvin Bragg, a Manhattan DA, who was elected on the promise of going after Donald Trump. For what crime? We had no idea.
Get Trump, get Trump, get Trump. You've heard it with Fani Willis. You've heard it with Letitia James. That was the charge that they were given. You guys need to go get Trump. We're going to get you some Soros money so we can get you in the office, but then you're going to go get Trump.
Just the idea that they had to go after Donald Trump. This is a politician keeping his campaign promise. That is a bastardization of our legal system. That's not how we do things in the United States. And that motivation accounts for why this case is so weak and emblematic of the other prosecutions that have since followed against Donald Trump.
And they don't care that it's weak. Understand, if they get their conviction, oh, all the better. That's fantastic. The objective of this is to keep him off the campaign trail. Keep him tied up in a New York courtroom for the next 8 to 10 weeks, all the way through June, so he can't talk to his people.
I think Trump is going to prevail, but most importantly, I hope we move beyond this phase of our history where you have one political party that thinks it can use the legal system to prosecute its opponents.
See, my concern is I don't know if we're going to be able as a country to move beyond this type of lawfare. My concern is that we've basically crossed the Rubicon. This is going to be the Democrat operation at this point. They are going to go after everybody they can. They're going to use whatever manipulation. Look at what's going on with Mike Johnson. How the heck is he all of a sudden wanting to give money to some foreign lands when he said he didn't want to do it? It seems like they find stuff on everybody. They look into the deep recesses of your closet and find all of your skeletons, if you have them, which most people do. At some point, people have to be courageous and go, you can't hurt me. Yeah, I did this, I did that. It doesn't matter at this point. Be willing to take the arrows. Unfortunately, we're voting in people who've got these skeletons in their closet who aren't prepared to take the arrows because of what they've done and their embarrassment. They're too proud to understand, hey, listen, you've got to come bare. You've got to basically open the robe and say, listen, I know what I've done. I don't care if you broadcast it to the world. I'm not going to do your bidding. I am not going to be a Luciferian. I'm going to follow God. God wins. It's very simple. There's too many people who are afraid to do the right thing. And it seems like the only person in our government willing to take the arrows is the guy they think isn't Christian-like, Donald Trump. None of the other ones are. You don't see any other politician standing up and going, I'm here for you. Do your best. Bring it. Nope, you don't hear anybody else saying it but Donald Trump. Think about that.
Same shoe can fit the other foot, and if we keep going down this direction, we're not going to have a country left. In the complete absence of a legal argument, even, to bring this case against Trump isn't just embarrassing to Alvin Bragg, it's embarrassing to our country. I hope Donald Trump not only prevails in this trial, but that we prevail as a country to move beyond this phase of our national history. That's what it's going to take to reunite and rebuild this nation.
So you have to understand this as well. They're not interested in rebuilding this nation. They're not looking to build back better here. They're looking to take your money and build back better over there. I mean, it's just simply amazing what's going on in this country and how many people are just looking the other way. And after Vivek posted that video on Twitter/X, Elon Musk took notice. Elon Musk then posted this tweet or X post after seeing Vivek's video. It's very simple. This case is obviously a corruption of the law, lawfare. And as you can see, 1.2 million people saw that post. He then continued with the second post, and that second post says, "What bothers me is that this is so asymmetric. The law is not being applied equally to Joe and Hunter." That is so true. Now understand, Elon Musk drives the Democrats absolutely nuts. They can't shut him up. The dude has 180 million followers on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. 180 million followers. Nobody has as big an audience and as big a megaphone as Elon Musk, not even Donald Trump. And so when he's talking about it, masses are seeing what he's putting out there. And he's actually telling people who follow him, hey man, this is a crock. This is a sham. This isn't what the Democrats thought they were going to get. If you wonder why the judge and maybe Alvin Bragg and other people are responding the way that they're responding, is because this isn't the response that they hoped this sham trial would get for them. They thought it would make people shun Donald Trump, and it's doing just the opposite.
They hope that keeping Donald Trump off the campaign trail and any sort of details that emerge, that will all turn the tide for Biden in November. You cannot risk, after all, the people actually choosing their own president. Can't do that. Especially when new polling shows that Trump is leading Biden in 5 of 6 swing states. Now, according to Echelon Insights on behalf of the Heritage Foundation, he's up 10 in Georgia, 7 in Nevada, 6 in Michigan and in Arizona, and he leads Biden by 4 in Pennsylvania.
Now understand, I'm going to be completely open about this. This poll, as you can see, was taken March 12th through March 19th. This is before this sham trial began. He already was blowing Biden away before this trial began. So what do you think happened, once people started seeing what was going on? Check this out.
Biden nips Trump by 1 point in Wisconsin. And it must have killed Axios to report on a New York Times Siena College poll that was just out. The poll found a big increase, 9 points, in registered voters who believe that Trump left the country better off.
9 points. 9 points on April 15th. 9 points. People had felt that they were, I was better off with the other guy. This isn't working with this guy here. This Dementia Joe, Poo-Poo Diaper Joe isn't working for me. Now what do you think is going to happen when this trial is being blasted and talked about everywhere, where people already know, thank you Maggie Haberman, that CNN is just completely full of it. He went to sleep. She's the only person who, reported that. She's the only person who saw Donald Trump fall asleep. But I digress. Everybody knows the networks are fake news. They're getting it directly from people even like Donald Trump. It's not working. It's not going the way they planned. And it's only going to get worse for them. I'm anxious to see what the polling is going to look like this week. I bet you they don't even use any polls this week. You'll notice if they don't talk about polls, that means they're really bad for Dementia Joe. As I said, I think the Democrats made a huge mistake, a huge miscalculation by running with these sham trials. Normal people can really see how absurd all of this really is. And if you think about what happened yesterday, he can't even get a fair jury.
I think it's pretty extraordinary for, in the very first jury pool, before you interview anybody, half of the jury pool already says they're so biased against President Trump that they can't serve on the jury. This is what we call voir dire, where the lawyers and the judges ask questions of the potential jurors to ferret out any bias. Before we even get to do that, half the jury pool already says they're fully biased. That's only going to feed into, I think, Donald Trump's claim that the public integrity of the courts and the prosecutors is to be questioned as being biased and unfair against them.
You can actually smell the desperation on the left. You can see it in the media. You can see it all over Twitter. They are extremely desperate. They never learned that the more you attack Donald Trump, the stronger he gets. And because of that, I believe it's going to get even worse for the Democrats. Oh, and Trump is having a huge rally this weekend in Wilmington, North Carolina. I can't wait to see the size of the crowd and what he has to say. Contempt citations and gag orders, I don't care. And I know he doesn't care. Here's your $1,000, get out of my face. Let me know what you think about all of this and how it's developing almost every single day and how things seem to be getting worse and worse, not for Donald Trump, but for the Democrats. And also, let me know if you'd like to attend a live watch party on Saturday here on YouTube on my channel as I broadcast the big rally up in North Carolina. Talk to you soon. Things are absolutely getting nuts. I'll probably do another update later on.